Happy New Year! In this live stream, I'm going to be talking about some of the rate increases that are happening across the state of California and what you can do about it. I'm Jaime Greene, the Solar Queen, and I want to wish everyone a Happy New Year. I hope that you guys had a great time with your family and friends, and if you traveled, that you had safe travels. My family and I, we went to New York and spent time with my family there for the first time for the holidays. So we took a little break. Now I'm back, and here it is, 2024, and I'm excited to start sharing information about solar energy, solar power, and how it can help you save on your energy costs, especially since all the utility companies have instituted, I guess, or started adding their rate increases beginning this month. So be on the lookout for that. And really, what I want to talk about in this live stream is the way that solar energy is going to help. I don't want to say offset the cost, but save you money on your energy costs. So I've had solar on my house, I guess, coming up on 5 years. And I was having a conversation yesterday with somebody through Messenger about, the cost to charge electric vehicles. What is the cost at the superchargers? I have a Tesla, and this person's looking into getting a Tesla, and he was asking me, like, state by state, if it's different. And of course it is, because they're buying their energy too from the utilities. So they're charging, every charging station is going to charge you a little bit over what they're paying for their energy based on the time of day that you're charging your vehicle. And one of the things that I've been seeing in the last several months and having consultations with homeowners is they're starting to add EVs to their homes. And what this does is it's making their energy bills go up. Like, I'm talking in the hundreds and hundreds of dollars every year, which is still cheaper than gas. Although gas in New York was like $3.50. I think it's like $5 a gallon here, which is crazy. But I am seeing more EVs in New York State, which is good. California, they're kind of everywhere. So, but what's happening is as you use more energy, obviously your electricity bills are going to go up. So if you get an EV and you notice your utility rates going up because of more usage, I'm not sure how many of you guys are still left on time of use, or not time of use, the tiered billing system. But if you are on the tiered billing and you haven't switched over to time of use with EV rates, you might want to do that, even if you haven't gone solar, because you're going to be able to charge your car at a reduced rate starting, I think, at midnight, which impacts, if you go solar, it's going to, I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But if you're still on the time of use, or sorry, tiered billing system, you're likely going to be switched over to time of use, which means you're on peak, off peak, and mid peak. In some locations, SCE has mid peak, off peak, super off peak, and SDGE has mid peak, or sorry, it has off peak and on peak. So it just means that we're using more energy, we're being charged more for the time of day that there's the higher demand. And in some places like Arizona, there are demand charges on top of distribution, transmission, and generation charges that are what our utility companies charge us for our energy. So if you get an EV and you drive a lot and you're charging from home, your energy bills are going to go up. And for some homes, it's almost doubling their energy usage, which means it's doubling their electricity bills. And when it comes to solar, we just need to make sure that we can put enough solar on your rooftop and storage in California. And we may have to have that discussion of, you're going to be buying energy from the grid at the super off peak EV rate time for your vehicle. And you're going to have a true up every month, and just chalk it up to your true up bill is to charge your car. Everything else, because you're not going to want to use your batteries to charge your car, because every charge, at least for my car, I take it down to about, I charge it, I try not to let the battery go below 40%, But if I do take it down to 20% and I charge it back up 80%, so what is that? 60% of the battery, it takes about 54 kilowatt hours. And at 54 kilowatt hours, I just looked up SDGE's rates and got a notification, or saw, in fact, I'll share it. I'm going to share let's see, share screen. And I want to show you what happened with SDGE. Okay, so here you can see it. This is the San Diego Union Tribune. Hawaii has always been known to be the most expensive utility companies out there in the United States, but in October for SDGE, it surpassed Hawaii. So 47.5 cents. So if you live in San Diego and you're charging your car and it takes 54 kilowatt hours, it's still a great deal because it's still cheaper than what you'd be paying at the gas pump. But that's $25 to charge your car with electricity in SDGE territory. So 47.5 cents. The rates, depending on time of day, can go all the way up to 80 cents, 83 cents a kilowatt hour, which I've seen on utility bills. So yeah. So what I wanted to share, though, today was that everyone's utility bills are going to go up in January, and they're going to continue to creep up throughout the year because that's what the utility companies do. They usually do about 3 to 4 rate increases every single year per the authorization or the approval from the California Public Utility Commissioner. And so SCE rates are going up by about, here, I have it right here. So let me share my screen so you can see that they're going up 7.6%. That's the expected rate increase, 31 cents per kilowatt hour, which is still a little on, what I've been seeing on utility bills with SCE homeowners is in the mid 30s. So it compounds too. So it just builds the case for why getting solar and storage is still a smart thing to do financially when it comes to hedging yourself from future rate increases. Now, it all depends on how you pay for your solar system, if you're going to pay cash for it. If you lease a solar system, the leasing gives you some options, but you just want to make sure that you are comfortable with a lease. At most leases, after the first 5 to 6 years, depending on the lease that you get, you can buy the system, you can purchase the system. You forego the tax credit, which is 30% of the cost of the solar system. But what I like about leases is you can, and when you work with me, if I can lock you into a 0% escalator, I'm going to do that for you because I think that is the best thing for you. There are a lot of people out there selling leases with a 3.5% rate escalator, and that is going to compound over time. And, in 15 years, 16 years, you're going to have your rates continue to go up, even with the lease. And the lease is going to be around for 25 years. The nice thing about leases is that you don't have to worry about maintenance or the system if it underproduces or the system goes down for whatever reason. As long as the leasing company is still in business, which is always a concern for any company that you're dealing with, your lease is going to be covered. Everything's going to be covered under the lease. It's kind of like a warranty, if you will. Another benefit of getting a solar lease with storage is, say after 15 years, your battery stops working or whatever, the leasing company is going to replace the battery. So that is, a potential savings versus purchasing the solar system, because batteries are still, depending on the different installers and the different rates that they charge for batteries, it depends. Your ROI might be a little bit longer depending on how expensive the batteries are. But here's the thing. There are more and more power outages. There was a power outage that I saw a couple days ago down in southern Marin, where I live in Marin County here in California. And I think like 1,500 people were without power. It's not a big deal if it's like a half an hour, but if it's going to be out for a long time, say 10 to 12 hours or longer, having a backup battery is really kind of nice to have. So when you have solar and you don't get a battery, so for all the people who got solar prior to the net metering changes, if you didn't get a battery, you and your system and the power goes out, the grid goes down, your system shuts off for safety purposes. The one thing that I would say about getting solar under NEM 3.0, which everyone in California has to get, goes into the NEM 3.0 billing or net metering agreement. There are solar companies that are selling either backup batteries only, so no self-consumption, and there are solar companies that are selling self-consumption batteries only. But if you really want the peace of mind, my recommendation is to go ahead and pay a little extra to get the full backup and self-consumption batteries for your home. So if you're not meeting with me and you're meeting with someone else, or someone knocks on your door and sells you a solar, lease or whatever, and you really, really want that peace of mind of if the power goes out and you're using the battery for self-consumption when the sun goes down, because remember, under NEM 3.0, your solar system or your solar that you purchase, you are purchasing solar to generate for you in real time. There's nowhere for that power to go in excess. Then you are going to store that extra energy that your system's generating that you're not using into the batteries. And then you're going to use the batteries, the energy for self-consumption when the sun goes down every day and every night. And wintertime is tricky because we're not getting as much solar production in the wintertime. So for people in California, you're going to have true-up bills in the wintertime. Regardless, even if you couldn't oversize your system if you wanted to. I mean, I've looked at so many designs, so many like outputs for the wintertime. You would be buying way too much solar, meaning it's going to overproduce a ton in the summertime. You're not going to have enough storage for that to go into in the summertime to reduce your true up in the wintertime. And true up in the wintertime, I'm talking from November to February. Hi, Damon. Hey, I hope you're having a great new year. You want solar on your next build. And I think you're in Louisiana, right? Are you in Louisiana or you're somewhere in the Gulf states? So yes, solar, it just creates energy independence and resiliency, especially when you get solar and batteries. So when that time comes, hit me up. We'll talk about it. If I can't help you, I'll find someone in your state to help you, but I think I can help in your state. Talking to an old high school friend. He's building a house in Oregon, and to bring like he's doing a new build on land that has no utilities, and so to bring utilities to that is way more expensive. It's more cost effective for him to go solar, batteries, and generator than it is for him to bring utilities. And he kind of wants to go off grid, so it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's still not popular there, mostly because it's a gas, it's a fossil fuel, it's a gas state. And there's nothing wrong with fossil fuels, and there's nothing wrong with guys, we still need oil. Everything that we use in our life on a daily requires oil. Like anything that's made of plastic requires oil. So, but Louisiana, being it's a Gulf state and there's a lot of oil and gas there, it's like the cost of energy is so cheap. So it's really, for the people that are living in places like Texas, although Texas rates are going up, at places like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, where there's a lot, oil and gas is huge and your energy costs are still low, you really have to want it for the right reasons or for your own personal reasons. But really energy independence and resiliency. So there you have it. Yeah. So going back to the energy costs here in California are off the charts. Damon, the rates in California are in the high 30 cents and 40 cents per kilowatt hour. And I bet in Louisiana, it's probably in the 12 to 13 cent range. So imagine paying 3 times as much for for gas for your car, but it's for our home. Like, I have the lights on. I'm the only one home right now. It is cold here in California. I'm trying to not use my gas furnace as much because gas prices, well, they say they're kind of going down, but I don't really believe that. It's still like, telling my kids the other day, like, everything costs money. Please don't waste the water. Please, like, if you're running around in the house with shorts and a t-shirt on and the furnace is on, I'm turning the furnace off, because they just don't have that concept that utilities cost money and you have to pay it no matter what. So this is where the argument for solar comes in. You're going to redirect your money that you're paying to the utility company, and you're going to invest in your home in a power plant that goes on your rooftop, goes on the side of your wall with a battery, and you use your solar system. I'm really happy that we got solar when we did. And even if I hadn't gotten solar, it's in California, at least, it still makes a lot of financial sense to go solar and get a battery or 2. Some need 3, and create energy resiliency, because power outages still happen, even with bad weather. People still run into power lines and bring down, power goes out. Um, we're getting ready to go to Hawaii in a few weeks, and I follow a lot of the Hawaii news on my Instagram and Facebook. And Molokai, which I've actually been to Molokai with one of my best friends years ago, they had a tornado warning. So, things are happening with weather. We can't control the weather. We as individuals can't. So we just have to be prepared for it. So I would say in California, even with batteries, it's going to, yes, it's going to take out your ROI, or, everyone's really, really, they get really focused on the ROI, or when are they going to break even? Newsflash, you never break even with the utility company. So even if you get solar and you get the storage, it prolongs your return on your investment by a couple years. If you didn't have to get solar, you're still going to come out ahead against the utility companies. So that being said, if you're interested in a solar consultation with me, a lot of you who watch me on YouTube ask me, how do I work? Well, here's how I work. I am like a solar broker. So I work with lots of different solar installers across America and in California. And so I listen to what it is that you need. I put together a solar proposal for you, and then you and I get to make that decision, or really it's you. You get to make the decision if you want to choose to work with me. And I would encourage you to work with me, because I've been doing this for several years. I want to say I've almost seen it all, but every single year I help homeowners, there's something new. There's always something new that comes up. And I think, oh, I haven't seen it all. But one thing I will caution you is, things do come up, and it's construction, and there's a lot of things that are beyond my control or anybody else's control, whoever you work with. But one thing I think my homeowners that have gotten solar with me in years past, they're always grateful that I'm there for them. So you can answer your door-to-door knocker and go solar with them, but the likelihood of you ever hearing from them if something goes wrong, they might not still be in the business. So that's what I like to pride myself on, is I'm here. I've been in this industry for several years now, which is crazy. I love helping people. We get through the construction process. Yeah, one of the things I didn't ever see having to happen is for people in SCE, if you have a locked meter, and you need to tie into that meter or whatever, you have to unlock it. So, and it used to be that construction companies, or what are they, not vendors, the general contractors could unlock the meter, but the homeowner has, or they used to be able to request it from the utility, but now the homeowner does. And so that causes delays. And SCE, of all the utility companies, is the one utility company that is the greatest delay in California. PG&E is way faster when it comes to like PTO and things like that. SCE takes a long time. So if you're an SCE customer, be prepared for that. With PG&E, I'm seeing PTO is happening quite quickly after the finals pass, which is great. Yeah, so just know that you can go to my website. Here's my website, JamieGreenTheSolarQueen.com. It's I probably should update those videos on my website, and I'll make sure to do that. But that's the place where you want to go, and you're going to fill out a form. You're going to upload your utility bill, and then you're going to set your appointment with me. It's all automatic, and then I get notified, and then we meet either by phone or by Zoom, and we talk about your home. And the other thing, if you're in California, that I'm going to encourage you to do is download your interval data. It's an Excel spreadsheet. You're going to download your green button data, and then that way it tells you're going to send it to me. And this is why, because this determines how many batteries you need for your home. Because when the sun goes, I look at all the usage throughout the year and kind of get a good idea of how much energy you're using from the time that the sun goes down, your system stops producing, to the time the sun comes up. So we make sure you get enough storage and reduce the amount of your net bill from the utility company for the entire year. So there's a lot of analysis. It's a little bit longer than it used to be when it was under NEM 2.0, but that's in the past. And we're in 2024, which is wild to think we're already here into 2024. But that's really the process, is going to my website, filling out the form, uploading your utility bills, and 12 months of usage on your interval data. And then deciding how we're going to meet, either by Zoom or phone. You can check that off on the form, and then you're going to book an appointment on my calendar, and then we're going to meet. And that's that. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and ask questions in the comments if you have any questions. If you're watching on Facebook or X or LinkedIn, and you can go to the website. If you want to just start chatting, you can always send me a message and we can chat about your specific situation. But the best thing to do is to go to my website and schedule an appointment with me. So that's it. Utility rates, the bottom line is utility rates are going up in the state of California. You need solar and storage. And my recommendation is get the full-on backup and self-consumption batteries, which tend to be a little bit more expensive for the cost of the battery. But I promise you're going to be grateful when you have backup. Like my Tesla Powerwall, I have a Tesla Powerwall. I like my Tesla Powerwall. I can set it to backup mode and self-consumption mode. I can switch it to time of use, and when I want it to be on self-consumption mode, it's very user-friendly. I know Franklin Whole Home is very similar. They're a battery manufacturer. It's a good battery, has great warranties as well. Some of my installers in California are starting to carry them, which is great. I like the versatility of those batteries. Enphase has self-consumption batteries and or backup batteries, and they do have backup self-consumption, I believe, but they're very, very expensive. Very expensive, meaning way more expensive than the Tesla and the Franklin Whole Home. You have SolarEdge batteries, which are going to be self-consumption or backup, I believe. Here's the thing that a lot of people, I'll just talk a little bit about tech stuff. A lot of people like Enphase microinverters. If you go with microinverters, you're limited to only AC batteries, which are going to be your Tesla, Franklin Whole Home, or Enphase batteries. If you go with a DC inverter, which is like SolarEdge, SolarEdge has had some issues in the past. We have SolarEdge. We have not had issues, knock on wood. but they work with DC batteries. So SolarEdge, Tesla, you can pair it with Tesla. That's what we have. Franklin Home. What's another battery? SolarEdge. There's one other battery that I'm totally blanking on. But at the end of the day, you just want to make sure that you have, if you're going NEM 3.0 solar plus storage, at the very bare minimum, you want to get self-consumption batteries. You don't want to get backup battery mode batteries only under NEM 3.0. That makes no sense whatsoever. So I would say make sure you get enough batteries. And the other thing I will also say, since this is kind of all about NEM 3.0 California in 2024, I'm seeing quotes. People send me, they watch my YouTube channel and then they reach out, they actually send me what their proposals have been. And the thing I'm seeing the most is they're not being quoted enough storage. So that really, that irks me a little bit. So if you're watching and you're a solar professional, make sure you're in California, make sure you're selling enough storage, because you're going to make that homeowner really upset that they didn't get enough storage, but they don't know. So I'm telling you, as a homeowner, if you're watching this, make sure you get enough storage. And there's that. So Happy New Year to you guys. That's it. Reach out if you're interested in a solar consultation. Remember, you're redirecting what you're already paying to the utility company to your solar and battery. For whatever reason, a lot of people need new roofs and they also need main panel upgrades. So that is going to affect how much your energy system costs if you roll those two events in, roofing and main panel upgrades. So just be aware of that. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Oh, it's so crazy. And I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Take care. Bye-bye.